Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from February 16th to February 20th, 2026. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from February 16th to February 20th, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday is President's Day in the United States with markets closed. We'll see Eurozone Industrial Production data. Tuesday brings Australian RBA meeting minutes, UK employment figures, German ZEW economic sentiment, US New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, Canadian inflation data, and Japanese trade balance figures. Wednesday features the Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate decision expected to hold at 2.25%, UK inflation data, US building permits and housing starts, US durable goods orders, US industrial production, FOMC minutes, and Japanese machinery orders. Thursday includes Australian employment figures, US Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, US initial jobless claims, Australian PMI flash readings, and Japanese inflation data. Friday concludes with a packed day featuring Japanese PMI flash data, UK retail sales, German PPI data, German and UK PMI readings, US Core PCE Price Index, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, Canadian retail sales and PPI data, and US PMI flash data along with new home sales. This week's key market-moving events will be the Reserve Bank of New Zealand decision on Wednesday, UK inflation data on Wednesday, Canadian inflation data on Tuesday, and US Core PCE Price Index on Friday. These releases should create significant opportunities across major pairs. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar and the euro against the US dollar, as both instruments show similar technical patterns heading into key data releases. Let's start with the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar. Looking at the daily chart, the New Zealand dollar is currently trading around 0.6022, showing consolidation after recent gains. The price moved into a consolidation phase above the 20-day moving average on Friday, maintaining a bullish posture. The stochastic oscillator was crossing lower near the overbought area on Friday by the time this video was created, suggesting a potential pullback or further consolidation. Looking at important levels, the New Zealand dollar against the US dollar has support at 0.5962 and 0.5911, while resistance can be found at 0.6081 and 0.6136. Wednesday's Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate decision will be the most crucial event for this pair. The RBNZ is expected to hold rates at 2.25%, but the tone of the accompanying statement will be closely watched. The consolidation above the 20-day moving average is a positive sign, indicating the uptrend remains intact. However, the stochastic crossing lower from overbought suggests some near-term caution is warranted. If the RBNZ maintains a hawkish tone on Wednesday, it could support a break toward the 0.6081 resistance level. Conversely, a dovish statement could see the pair test the 0.5962 support and potentially the 20-day moving average. Now, let's turn to the euro against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the euro-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.1858, showing a very similar technical setup to the New Zealand dollar. The price moved into a consolidation phase above the 20-day moving average on Friday, maintaining its position above this key support level. The stochastic oscillator was crossing lower near the overbought area on Friday by the time this video was created, indicating potential for a pullback. Looking at key levels, the euro against the US dollar has support at 1.1583 and 1.1474, while resistance stands at 1.2081 and 1.2193. Friday's US Core PCE Price Index will be crucial for this pair. The Fed's preferred inflation measure is expected to show a year-over-year rate of 2.8%, unchanged from the previous reading. The technical picture mirrors the New Zealand dollar, with consolidation above the moving average and the stochastic crossing lower from overbought. Wednesday's FOMC minutes will provide insights into Fed thinking, while Friday's PCE data could be the catalyst for the next major move. If the PCE data comes in lower than expected, it could support a move toward the 1.2081 resistance level. However, Hotter than expected inflation could trigger profit-taking and push the pair toward the 1.1583 support level. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Wednesday's RBNZ decision and UK inflation data, and Friday's US PCE release, as these events can cause sudden spikes in volatility and potential gap risks. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.